Yesterday, I heard a story that almost made me sick. And it was about a room full of leaders where I work, managers, and how they applauded the death of growth. This is how it goes. A director retired after a total of 39 years of federal service. And one of the managers there asked him, they said, "Do you have any advice for us? What is something that we can do to become better managers, better leaders, and whatnot?" He just took a pause, looked around the room, and said, "So we go through these cycles. We start, we try, we end up right back where we started. So my advice to all of you, don't change." And the room was like full of agreement. "Oh yeah, that totally makes sense. You totally got it. Hit the nail on the head." This is the organization where I work. So these are the managers that are in charge of me, and I'm here, a trained change agent, somebody who not only in my professional certifications, but in my degree field of management and leadership, which I have a master's in. And in that moment when the story finally reached my ears, I realized this man who gave so much of his life to the federal government wasn't motivating people to grow. All he was doing was trying to put relief. Kind of like when you have back pain and you put icy hot, it gives you temporary relief, but it doesn't fix the problem. He was just relieving them of any responsibility to act, relieving them of responsibility to take and make an effort, and relieving them of the discomfort that does come with growth. I mean, if we are going to grow, it's not always going to be a comfortable process. It's not always going to be easy. He was telling them change is pointless, so just don't even bother. Don't even go for those challenges. This man who gave so much of his life failed to learn how to be a leader. He doesn't know how to challenge people to grow. This is the same mindset that keeps a lot of organizations stuck, especially if they're older. It's not change that doesn't work. It's not change that is impossible. It's what we keep trying to change without understanding the system. It's the efforts that we make that are in vain because we don't dig down to the root cause of problems and know exactly what's happening. Why is that the problem? Why are we having problems here? They don't go beyond the what. Without this clarity, this is why we get in this cyclical pattern of we try and we fail. We start, we do our efforts that we're mandated to do, and then we get back to point zero, to square one. And a big problem with organizations trying to change, you have people who are like, "Oh great, here we are trying something new again. Well, I'm just gonna wait it out. I'm not gonna give it a real effort. I'm just gonna do what I have to do, the bare minimum." And the problem with that is those same people, a lot of them in positions of authority, are the same people who are complaining that change never works. But you never gave it a chance. You had already killed the change. You had already killed the initiative before it even began. So do you really have any ground to stand on to say that change doesn't work? So if you keep ending up wherever you started and you're struggling and you're getting frustrated and you're trying new things and it never seems to work, the problem isn't change itself. The problem isn't that change is bad. Change is inevitable. The problem is typically the approach. How are you trying to manage the change? Real lasting transformation, it's not about luck. It's not about coincidence. It's structure, it's strategy, and it's 100% dependent on good leadership. You can have good managers, but if you don't have a good leadership, your change efforts are going to struggle. To this bold statement, I blatantly oppose it. The answer is to understand. The answer is to get down to the root causes of these problems. Don't just look at the surface level and think you know how to solve it and come up with a solution so that you can just move on and not have to deal with it. You don't have the capacity to dig down. Find somebody in your organization who does and empower them to make it work, empower them for it to be a reality. In the federal government, a lot of things are out of your hands. You have been compartmentalized to death, and you are forced to fit into boxes and meet hundreds of regulations and process instructions that people on the outside are not. They're not bound by all the red tape, but you have no choice but to be bound by red tape because you have so many agencies telling you how to do your job. I get it. But if you don't try, you will never succeed. Lack of change leads to stagnation, and stagnation leads to all of your problems. People get lazy when they're stagnant. Even if they're not a lazy person, their efforts become less than their best. Period. So the answer is don't throw change away. Don't resist change for the sake of resisting change. Change the way you implement change. And if any of you are watching this from other organizations, I'm trying to help people make real change possible. That is my goal. My desire above all is that the lessons that I teach, regardless of the size of your organization, regardless of the wealth of your organization, that you will be successful. Even if it's just you and your mom in a candy shop that you're trying to start, or if you're a mobile solo entrepreneur groomer where you're driving around the city in a van cutting animals' hair, or whatever your business, your organization is about, the tools that I'm trying to teach can apply at any level and can help any size organization because it's principle based. It's not about this one thing fixes all your problems. It's learning the principles to make you more effective overall as a manager and especially as a leader. So follow Develop You. Find us on all of our socials. I am here to help you. That is my number one goal in life, is to just teach you how to be successful.